Let me paint you a picture that's going to make you rethink every Instagram perfect hiking photo you've ever posted. You're 15 miles deep in the Sierra Nevada. Your phone died 6 hours ago. Your water ran out yesterday. And in the next 48 hours, you're going to make 3 decisions. 2 of them will almost kill you. 1 of them will save your life. Because here's the truth. Nobody posts on social media. 200 people die every year in American wilderness. Not from bears. Not from falling off cliffs. From making stupid decisions in the first 6 hours of being lost. The question is, would you survive? The hiking industry sold you a lie. Instagram influencers sold you a bigger one. They want you to believe that nature is Instagrammable. That wilderness is beautiful. That hiking is self-care. Bullshit. Nature doesn't give a damn about your follower count. The wilderness isn't a photoshoot location. It's a physics laboratory where the laws of thermodynamics execute their protocols with mathematical precision. And thermodynamics doesn't negotiate with your REI gear budget. This is the story of Marcus Hendricks. Real person, real mistakes. And you're about to find out if you would have made the same ones. Before we start, I want you to do something right now. Pull out your phone. Look at the battery percentage. Now imagine that's all you have. No charger. No power bank. No way to recharge. In the comments, tell me, how long does your phone battery last from 100% to 0%? With GPS and screen on constantly? I want a number, not pretty long, a number. Because that number might be the difference between a rescue helicopter finding you or your family identifying your body. Now let's see what Marcus did wrong, and what you would do different, if you're honest with yourself. Now, if you want to keep living in the fantasy where you're the protagonist in a survival movie, where you make all the right calls and nature bends to your will, you can close this video right now. Go back to TikTok, watch some dance videos. But if you want to understand the real physics, the real biology, the real decisions that separate survivors from statistics, then pay attention. Because what I'm about to show you goes against everything the outdoor industry wants you to believe. Subscribe now if you want to be part of the 1% that understands wilderness survival is applied science, not adventure porn. Marcus Hendricks, 38 years old. Software engineer from San Jose. Experienced hiker. Not an idiot. Or so he thought. August 15th, 2019. Marcus left the main trail to photograph a waterfall he saw on Instagram. Let that sink in for a second. He left a marked trail with signage and rescue access to chase a photo opportunity recommended by strangers on social media. Already, you can see the problem. But here's what makes it worse. Marcus had a phone, 20% battery, GPS app running. He had a water bottle, empty. But he's almost back to the trail. He had food, 2 granola bars. It's just a quick detour. He had 0 off-trail navigation experience. And he had absolute confidence that technology would save him. Here's what Marcus didn't understand about GPS and battery physics. GPS is a power hog in dense forest. Because your phone is constantly searching for satellite signals that are being blocked by tree canopy. It's like trying to hear a whisper in a nightclub. Your brain works overtime, same with your phone's radio. In open terrain, GPS drains battery at normal rate. In dense forest, it drains 3 to 4 times faster. Marcus's 20% battery? In optimal conditions, maybe 90 minutes of GPS. In Sierra Nevada forest density, maybe 30 minutes. You are Marcus now, and you just made your first mistake. Hour 1. Lost. The waterfall? Not where Instagram said it would be. The trail? Also not where you thought it was. And now you have a choice. This is the decision that kills 80% of lost hikers who die in the first 24 hours. Think carefully. Your phone is at 18%. GPS is struggling through tree cover, recalculating constantly. You pull it out. 2 options. Decision point 1. Do you? A. Keep GPS on. Use it to navigate back to the trail. B. Turn GPS off immediately. Save battery for emergency call later. Think about the physics for a second. What's more important? Knowing where you are right now, or having the ability to call for help in 6 hours when you're still lost? Comment your answer, A or B, and be honest. Because I'm going to show you what happens with each choice. Most people choose A. Most people die. Let me tell you about Jennifer Morrison. Appalachian Trail, 2016, experienced hiker. Made the same choice you just made if you picked A. Kept her GPS on, trying to navigate out. Phone died in 2 hours. She was still lost. No way to call for help, no beacon, no signal. They found her body 11 days later. She'd been 400 meters from a highway. 400 meters. That's 4.5 minutes of walking. She died because she prioritized navigation over communication. The physics doesn't care about your anxiety. Battery life is battery life. When it's gone, it's gone. Marcus made the right choice. He turned GPS off. Not because he knew the physics. Because his battery was dying faster than expected, and he panicked. Luck, not skill. But the result was correct. Here's why it was correct. GPS tells you where you are. But if you're lost in dense forest, where you are is meaningless without the ability to call someone to come get you. A phone with 18% battery. With GPS on in dense forest equals 30 minus 45 minutes of positioning data, then a brick. With GPS off equals potential 6 to 8 hours of standby, enough to make one critical 911 call when you need it. Communication beats navigation when you're lost. If you knew where to go, you wouldn't be lost. Marcus saved his phone, saved his life. Now comes the second decision. And this one's harder. Hour 6. Still lost. Sun's dropping behind the mountains. Temperatures falling from 72 degrees Fahrenheit to what's going to be 42 degrees tonight. That's a 30-degree drop. And here's where physiology starts fighting against you. Your body maintains core temperature at 98.6 degrees. It does this by burning calories to generate heat. In a 30-degree temperature drop, especially if you're wet from sweat, your body cranks up metabolic furnace to compensate. That means you're burning calories faster. Problem: you have 2 granola bars. That's approximately 400 calories total. Normal metabolic rate: 2,000 calories per day. Elevated metabolic rate from cold stress: 2,500 calories per day. You are in calorie deficit before you even start trying to hike out. And calorie deficit means weakness. Weakness means bad decisions. Bad decisions mean death. Marcus found a stream. Now comes decision point 2. The stream is crystal clear. Looks clean. Looks safe. Looks delicious. You haven't had water in 18 hours. Your mouth is dry. Your head is pounding. Early-stage dehydration is setting in. And here's the biology. Dehydration affects cognitive function before it affects physical function. At 2% body water loss, that's about 3 pounds for average adult. Decision-making ability drops measurably. You start making dumb B choices. You start taking risks you normally wouldn't. Marcus is standing at that stream, and you need to decide. You're dehydrated. You found water, but is it safe water? Decision point 2. Do you? A. Drink directly from the stream. You'll die from dehydration before giardia kills you. B. Don't drink. Keep searching for safer water source. C. Drink, but only from fast-moving sections where water flows over rocks. This is where survival knowledge separates from survival MYTH. There's no perfect answer here. Every option has risks. Comment A, B, or C. And tell me why you chose it. Because the why matters more than the what. Here's the reality of wilderness water contamination. Giardia, the most common waterborne pathogen in American wilderness, has an incubation period of 7 to 14 days. That means even if you drink contaminated water today, you won't get sick for a week. Dehydration kills you in 3 days. The math is simple. Immediate death beats potential death. But here's what most people don't know. Fast-moving water over rocks has lower pathogen concentration than stagnant water. Why? Physics. Bacteria and protozoa are heavy compared to water molecules. Fast-moving current can't carry them as effectively. They settle in slow, still water. Marcus chose C. Drank from the fastest section of stream he could find. Drank small amounts. Not gulping. Because the other thing nobody tells you. If you're severely dehydrated and you chug water, you can trigger hyponatremia. That's when your blood sodium levels crash because you diluted them too fast. Hyponatremia causes brain swelling. Brain swelling causes death. So Marcus drank, slowly, from fast water, and he lived. Would you have made that choice? Or would you have kept searching for perfect water that doesn't exist? I know what you're thinking right now. Where's the survival knife? Where's the fire starting kit? Where's the emergency beacon? Let me be direct. If your survival plan depends on having perfect gear, you don't have a survival plan. You have a shopping list. Marcus had a phone. That's it. No knife. No fire starter. No emergency blanket. And he's still alive. You know why? Because survival isn't about what you carry. It's about what you decide. When you're in hypothermia stage 1, your fine motor control fails. You can't operate a fancy fire-starting magnesium rod. Your fingers don't work. When you're cognitively impaired from dehydration, that tactical knife is just a way to accidentally cut yourself and bleed out in the woods. Gear is useful, but decision-making under pressure is what keeps you alive. And that's what I'm teaching you. Not what to buy, what to do. Now, back to Marcus. Because he's about to make the decision that saves his life. And it's not what you think. Hour 12. Full darkness. Temperature 41 degrees and dropping. Marcus is wet from sweat, from stream water, from humidity. And here's where thermodynamics becomes your enemy. Wet clothing conducts heat away from your body 25 times faster than dry clothing. That's not an estimate. That's physics. Marcus can feel it happening. Shivering. Uncontrollable. That's stage 1 hypothermia. Body temperature dropping from 98.6 toward 96 degrees. At 95 degrees, cognitive function deteriorates. At 93 degrees, you start making fatal decisions. At 90 degrees, you're unconscious. At 86 degrees, you're dead. Marcus has maybe 3 hours before he crosses 95 degrees. And then he sees it, a tree. Big one, maybe 40 feet tall. Low branches, climbable. Now, most people in Marcus's situation do one of two things. They either keep walking randomly, burning calories, getting more lost, or they huddle under a tree and wait for morning, losing body heat all night. Marcus did something different. Something that shows he understood physics, even if he didn't know he did. Decision point 3. What would you do? A. Keep moving to stay warm. Search for trail. B. Huddle at base of tree. Wait for morning. Conserve energy. C. Climb the tree. Get elevation. Try phone signal from height. Think about electromagnetic wave propagation for a second. Cell signals are line-of-sight radio waves. They're blocked by mass. Trees, terrain, Earth itself. Every 10 meters of elevation doubles your line of sight to the nearest tower. Comment A, B, or C. And tell me, would you have thought of C? Or would you have done what feels right instead of what the physics says? Marcus climbed. 40 feet up. Wet hands. Freezing. Shaking. Not safe. But necessary. He gets to a stable branch. Pulls out his phone. 12% battery left. Turns it on. 0 bars. Still 0. Then, 2 bars. He dials 911. The call connects. He gives his approximate location based on where he left the trail. Describes landmarks he can see from height. Stays on the phone for 4 minutes. Then hangs up. Turns phone off. Climbs back down. Battery. 7% remaining. Rescue helicopter arrives in 4 hours. Finds him using thermal imaging. Because he stayed in one place after making the call, instead of wandering and changing his position. Marcus survived because he understood 3 things. 1. Battery life beats navigation when you're lost. 2. Immediate survival beats perfect safety when you're dying. 3. Elevation beats ground level for signal propagation. None of that requires expensive gear. All of it requires understanding basic physics. Marcus was hypothermic when they found him. Core temperature, 94.8 degrees. 30 minutes slower and he would have hit cognitive failure. But he made it. 3 days in wilderness. 0 food after hour 6. Minimal water. Survived because of 3 decisions. Not gear, not luck, decisions. Now let's talk about what happens to people who make different choices. Because the statistics are brutal. Lost hikers who keep GPS running continuously. 73% run out of battery before rescue. Lost hikers who drink untreated water from any source. 91% survival in first 72 hours. Lost hikers who refuse to drink untreated water. 42% survival in first 72 hours. The immediate threat always beats the potential threat. Dehydration is immediate. Giardia is potential. Lost hikers who stay in one location after calling for help. 87% recovery rate. Lost hikers who keep moving after calling for help. 51% recovery rate. Why? Because search and rescue teams search outward from your last known position. If you keep moving, you might walk out of their search grid. These aren't opinions. These are statistics from National Park Service search and rescue data. Physics and biology don't negotiate with your hopes. They execute their laws whether you understand them or not. Because of cases like Marcus's, things changed. iPhone 14 and newer. Built-in satellite SOS. Works without cell signal. Connects directly to emergency satellites. You don't even need to climb a tree anymore. National Park Service. Mandatory GPS beacon registration for certain wilderness areas. Personal locator beacons cost $80. One button. Satellite signal. Search and rescue dispatched automatically. Hiking apps. Offline map download standard. Pre-download your trail map. Navigate without cell signal. No battery drain from searching for signal. These changes save approximately 50 lives per year. Because of people like Marcus who almost didn't make it. When you go hiking next weekend, and you will because now you're thinking about it, you have technology Marcus didn't have. But only if you understand the physics of how to use it. Battery management. Signal propagation. Thermal regulation. Gear is useless without knowledge. Knowledge is powerful even without gear. That's the difference. So, would you have survived? Let's count your decisions. Decision 1, phone battery. If you chose A, keep GPS on. You ran out of power in 2 hours. No way to call for help. Survival probability, 38%. If you chose B, turn GPS off. You preserved battery for emergency call. Survival probability, 82%. Decision 2, stream water. If you chose A, drink directly. Immediate hydration. Possible giardia in 2 weeks. But you're alive in 2 weeks. Survival probability, 79%. If you chose B, don't drink. Cognitive failure from dehydration in 18 hours. Fatal decisions follow. Survival probability, 41%. If you chose C, drink from fast-moving section. Best risk management. Optimal choice. Survival probability, 87%. Decision 3, the tree. If you chose A, keep moving. Calorie depletion. Hypothermia acceleration. Getting more lost. Survival probability, 33%. If you chose B, huddle and wait. Hypothermia sets in fully during night. Cognitive failure by morning. Survival probability, 56%. If you chose C, climb for signal. Best chance at rescue while conscious. Survival probability, 84%. If you got all 3 right, congratulations. You understand physics better than 80% of hikers. If you got 2 out of 3, you'd probably survive. With luck. If you got 1 or 0, you'd be a statistic. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Nature is not your friend. It's not your enemy either. It's a physics laboratory. The wilderness doesn't care about your Instagram followers. It doesn't care about your REI membership. It doesn't care if you're a good person. It executes the laws of thermodynamics, fluid dynamics, electromagnetic propagation, and biochemistry with perfect mathematical precision. Every year, 200 people forget this. They treat nature like a theme park. They trust their gear more than their knowledge. They make decisions based on feelings instead of physics. And they die. The difference between Marcus and a statistic wasn't luck. It was 3 decisions based on understanding basic science. Phone battery management, electromagnetic physics, water consumption, microbiology and fluid balance, signal acquisition, wave propagation and geometry. You don't need to be a scientist. You just need to think like one when you're dying. Because in the wilderness, your decisions in seconds determine if you live or die. And you just learned which decisions work. Would you survive? Now you actually know the answer. In the comments, tell me exactly. 1. Your decisions. A, B, or C for each point. 2. Do you think you survived? 3. Which decision was hardest for you and why? Don't tell me, great video. Tell me if your decisions would have kept you alive, or if you're just another person who thinks they'd survive but would actually become a statistic. I'm going to respond to every comment in the next 24 hours. And if we hit 1,000 comments, I'll create a follow-up revealing the optimal survival strategy for 10 different wilderness scenarios. Subscribe now if you want to understand that survival is science, not fantasy. Next episode. Adrift, 41 days at sea. Stephen Callahan survived 76 days alone in the Atlantic Ocean. But 3 decisions in the first 5 minutes determined if he'd live or die. Would you have made those decisions? Remember, in nature, your decisions in seconds determine your survival. Would you survive? Class dismissed.